To all my talented ones, it's me, Zan Harrell, the founder and director of Agent for Musicians. Today, you guys, I'm going to give you some casting calls and some information about getting your music heard on the radio. And when I say radio, I'm going to just start talking about the major radio stations because we all know it's very complicated getting your music on those radio stations. We know that they do the pay for play from the major labels, which is very hard to compete with because as an independent label and as an independent artist, it's quite difficult to shell out hundreds of thousands of dollars to major radio stations to get your music played and heard. But I have a solution for you guys today. You guys also know that I am an artist. I've worked with major dance artists and major rap artists all at the beginning of my career, starting in the early 90s, going on tour with the Ghetto Boys and out of Houston, and then we went on the big Public Enemy Acopolis tour. So many people, it was so many people on that tour, from Queen Latifah, MC Light, Kid and Play, Naughty by Nature. It's just unlimited amounts of people from the hip hop days back then. However, I then moved to New York and I became a big model and dancer on MTV. I was in GQ magazine, Source magazines, with a lot of the hip hop artists. And then I went on to tour with Yaki K, multi-platinum recording artist Yaki K from Technotronics. And she went on to sell over 20 million plus records. And so I also do dance music. I also worked with Mike Dean. I have a documentary that Mike Dean is a Grammy Award winning producer. I did a documentary on Mike Dean some years ago in Houston, because he's from Houston. He's the producer for Kanye West, T.I., Bun B, UGK, Scarface, Ghetto Boy. Everybody, anybody in hip hop who's really big, Mike Dean had his hand in, and Madonna. So I will also be posting that footage on here as well. So let's get back to talking about radio. So yeah, I started reaching out to internet radio stations and college radio stations. And you guys, if you have good music and if your music is properly recorded and mixed and mastered and it sound good, and some of my music I didn't even record it in like the typical, recording studios, because I got burnt out of that back in the day, going to spend my money at these recording studios and they still didn't have the sound right. They didn't mix and master it correctly, because we know the game. They want you to continue to keep coming back and spending up all your money. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. So I record my music on my MacBook and then I send it over to a couple of engineers on Fiverr and they get it done. I mean, it sounds so good. And I submit it before I submit it though, I make sure it's registered with ASCAP. If you don't want to be with ASCAP, get with BMI. Get with you a pro. That's a publishing rights organization. So that way you get credit for, writing your music and performing your music. Also get on Sound Exchange, copyright your music. It's things that you have to do, and then you also want to make sure that your fans will be able to have access to it as far as downloading it and getting it distributed. I go through DistroKid because DistroKid, there's a one-time legacy that's only $29.99, and that music stays on there forever. However, with TuneCore, they want you to continue to pay $10 every year, and I lost a couple of my songs on that platform because we're busy as artists, and being an independent company, you're really, really busy. So I know they send out the notifications. Sometimes I get them, sometimes I didn't. And they remove your music. So that's bad, because especially after you've posted it on your social media platforms, it could be years down the line and people go and they see that and they want to download your music, and you get paid for these things. And then if it's not on that platform anymore, they're not going to, people, we have like this attention deficit disorder. We're not going to go and try to search it. We're going to go on to the next thing. So that's an unfortunate thing for TuneCore, because I went to DistroKid. And so I like DistroKid. So you also want to make sure that people have availability that it's going to be. And DistroKid, they distribute through TikTok, through all the platforms. Through all the digital platforms, it's going to be there. So that's a really huge thing, you guys. You can contact these radio stations. You'll be surprised. I was very surprised that a couple of them, it's a lot to reach out to them. I'm not going to lie. I reached out to so many, but it was also during the time of the holidays. I had a lot of them get back with me, then a lot of them didn't. You have to, it's just like in sales, you have to put in a lot of work. You have to call a lot of different people, or you have to email a lot of different people just to get a couple of them to respond to you. But sometimes those responses could be very big responses. I had a couple of internet radio stations. I didn't even know they were huge, and they began to play my music, and my fan base grew significantly. And the reason why I could tell is because I would go to YouTube and I would look at the views, and my views were rising. They were increasing on my artist page and also my Spotify. And then also with Spotify, you want to make sure you get with the right, get on the right playlist, because we see that Spotify dropped hundreds of thousands of people because they were getting fake streams and all that. So you have to get on the Spotify curated playlist in order to be official. And I have the list of those playlist people who are official with Spotify. And I got down with them, and my numbers on Spotify grew. Yes, it does cost money. Some of them don't charge as much. Some of them just ask for $10 to $20 donations, and they will interview you on their platforms, which some of them have really big platforms. So that's what I want to talk to you guys about today. You can get on internet radio, college radio, and even some of the major stations, but it can't be the ones, unless you have that type of money, not the ones like, I don't like to mention them, but you guys know what the ones I'm talking about, the real big ones. You have other stations that's on the radio that's not so big. I would start with those first. I would, as an independent artist, we have to save every dollar and dime we can. We can't just take your money. You just can't take your money, just start dishing it out. You have to have a budget. You have to have a plan. And have that budget first before you even start spending money. Okay, this is how much money I'm going to spend on these ads. Whether it be Facebook or Instagram, TikTok. TikTok to me is the most expensive ad, but it's the most lucrative. This is how much money I'm going to spend on the Spotify playlist. This is how much money I'm going to spend on recording and paying the producer to use their beat, paying the engineer, the mixer, to do the mixing and the mastering. This is how much money I'm going to spend on the video. So you already have to have those things. This is how much money I'm going to pay the blogs. This is how much money I'm going to pay the influencers. All these things add up to you becoming successful and you building your fan base and making your mark in music. So let's get down to the casting today. I had another email. I get so many emails with music, you guys. I'm talking about so many emails of different companies sending me their casting calls, whether it be for actors, actresses, musicians, models. So if you're not here just for the music, which is okay, because we're an agency for all, but I started off with agent for musicians, so I just keep it as that. And those who are also talented in other fields, you can take advantage of a lot of the different agencies that we have access to. I get casting calls. I just got a casting call from a company that's willing to pay people, a family or a person, $5,000 just to tell your story about what you've been going through with COVID. But these are for people only in the Los Angeles area. I have casting calls from almost everywhere in the United States. So this is, hold on. Okay, this is that Unsigned Artist Only can get your music heard. Unsigned Only wants to help you get more recognition for your music, enter your songs for a chance to share in cash and prizes, and the unique opportunity to be heard by industry recording artists and executives. All styles and genres of music are accepted, including R&B, hip-hop, pop, top 40, many more. Past winners include current Grammy nominees and major label recording artists. You could be next. Judges include Darryl McDaniels from Run DMC, Bow Wow, NLE Choppa, Anthony Hamilton, Angela Yee. She's the co-host of The Breakfast Club, Joseph Patterson, senior editor Complex, and many more. All styles of music are accepted, including R&B, hip-hop, top 40 blues, and more. This particular company, I haven't looked into it because, everybody you just can't get down with. It seems reputable, but sometimes, you get these advertisements, you don't know how real it is. But this is the one that I really want to speak to you about in regards to internet radio. It's a couple of them, you guys. I have the information to these stations. We only ask for a subscription because it costs so much money getting this information. Just the same way we ask you guys to subscribe to Agent for Musicians to get monthly castings. Even if you just do it for a month, you'll be surprised how much information you can get. You can take that information and keep going. Or if you want to add more network and contacts, you just continue to pay a subscription of only $10 a month. It's only $10 a month. I pay hundreds of dollars every month to get this information, and I've been doing it for a very, very long time, and that's how I'm able to get it out to you guys, and that's how I'm able to also take advantage of these opportunities. Okay, you guys, if you like the content, give me a thumbs up, please. Also, subscribe to the channel, hit that red like button, and yeah, to my talented ones. Until later on with other castings, you guys take care. Don't give up on yourself. Most of all, don't give up on your dreams. You have to keep going. I know we're all facing some hard times right now with the pandemic, but I'm telling you, you can push through and you will make it. I was just amazed how I started back pushing that music 4 or 5 months ago, and then I started getting money and getting heard on the radio stations, and I hadn't really pursued my career in a minute because I have other businesses, but as soon as I started doing it and believing in myself, and I do have a network because I do know people in the industry, but still, you know, if you hadn't been doing it for a while, it could be complicated. So you guys just keep on going and believe in yourselves. Until next time, you take care. Peace. Agentformusicians@gmail.com.